How do you keep yourself going when you're discouraged? Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back for another vlog. Hopefully you guys been enjoying these videos. I know that some of them have been a little bit more personal than maybe some people anticipated, aka the last video. But a lot of people ask me a lot about how I do certain things, and I'm just gonna be completely honest with you guys. So hopefully you found some truths and some things to kind of reflect on, as you're by yourself, as you're kind of going through your own personal growth, as I'm going through mine as well. I think things start to change over time, as you start to experience more life, as you start to experience more challenges, as you gain more perspective, all these kind of ideas start to, shift a little bit. And I think that's a good thing. And that kind of leads into today's topic of, when you're doing something for a really long time, you feel like, man, I still kind of like this thing, but I'm not sure if I want to keep going. It's very hard, it's very draining. How do you keep yourself going? How do you keep yourself motivated to continue to work and not to give up? And my example I'm going to talk about is going to be more specifically geared towards my time in Texas. As much as I enjoyed it a lot earlier on, like I've shared before, man, it was rough. I didn't know if I was doing a good enough job. I felt like I was very close to just wanting to move back home, being like, all right, I did this barbecue experience. I'm kind of done with it. I just kind of felt like I needed to give myself some credit to doing these things, but I didn't know how to do that. If you guys are really critical about yourself, I'm sure you can relate. It almost seems like you're never satisfied. And so I needed something that was gonna be a little bit more tangible, just because sometimes I felt like if I was telling myself that I did a good job, then it was ego, and if it was other people that were telling me I was doing a good job, then they were lying just to make me feel good about myself. It's terrible. Trust me, I'm trying to work through all this kind of stuff, but that was legitimately where my head was at during those times where I didn't know if I could do it. And so I wanted to give you guys something that I did that was tangible for myself to every day, just to give me something to do, to be like, okay, whether it was good or bad, you kind of did something, you put in the work, added something to your resume, or added something for yourself to know that, look, man, you ain't gonna be perfect every day, but here it is. So the two things I'm gonna show you are these two plastic bags. Why are these two things your source of comfort when you wanted to give up? So this bag right here is of all the times I've clocked out at Terry Black's, and I saved those receipts, and every single time I could remember. Most of the times I did. I'm sure a couple of them end up in the trash or in the wash, but anytime I could, I would, after work, put this in the plastic bag. This one was for truth, and I still have these things, and when I look at them, they give me comfort to be like, hey, you put in this much work. And let's just start with the Terry Black's bag real quick. Oh man, I guess that day I had clocked in, it says 15.87, so I clocked in a almost 16-hour shift that day. Oh wow, I forgot I put this thing in here. So this is the first time I was working a manager shift, and I was responsible for putting in everyone in their spots, whether it's a cutter, a runner, a pusher, working the bar, the to-go for the AM and the PM. I'm pretty sure I kept this because I was stressing out a lot that morning because it was my first time doing it. I felt a lot of pressure to tell a lot of these people on this list right here that have worked in these places way longer than I have where to go and what to do. I also have my first pay stub in here, but I'm not going to show you that one. All right, let's break open truth. I don't know why, but I only clocked in 5 hours here. So I kept all of these because, I had these moments where I was just kind of like, man, I am a little bit tired, and I'm also just kind of like, man, I don't know if I can do this anymore. At that time, that feeling of I don't know if I can do this anymore was not because I was burning out. It was just me being kind of insecure about my ability to do the job well. Some days were good, some days were bad, and honestly, other than, I don't know, maybe 3 cooks at Terry Black's that kind of jump out of my mind that were just like completely like I messed up, and I own up to it, and I still remember all those 3 cooks. And the ones at Truth were just because, man, it was just a new restaurant and we were trying to figure out how to make this all work with that pit room and the pits and the city not allowing us to do certain things that would make it significantly easier for us. But yeah, I just was trying to be less result oriented. I would just look at these, 2 bags of, receipts basically, and just saying like, look how much time you put into these things. Like, you're able to have a bad day, or when you're tired, like, it's okay to be tired. Look how much time you put in. I think burnt out is a little bit different than being tired. Burnt out, I think, there's a lot of things, and we can talk about that another time, but this isn't what I'm talking about today. There are certain times where I just feel like we have to be a little bit more gracious to ourselves. I know that I have to do that a lot for myself because I just don't allow myself to relax sometimes, and I don't allow myself to enjoy the good. And it's much easier for me to celebrate other people's successes than it is to celebrate my own. And I think that's something that I've been working on more to, kind of give myself some more credit like I talked about earlier. But yeah, I think it is one of those things where I just felt like I wanted to give myself an objective look at, hey, look at all of the stuff that you've done and keep going. And so for you, it could be wherever you're at right now. It could be, saving your timestamps. Other people, it might be journaling. I used to do that before, and then I used to slack off and skip a bunch of times. And I do want to get back to it, but it is really hard for me to write all the time. But even things like going through your Instagram posts, if you guys cook barbecue, scroll all the way down to the bottom and look at your food that you used to make and look at the food that you're making now. And if you feel like there's growth and you see that there's growth, then that's a win. This is not something that is supposed to happen very quickly. And this is something that I think once we give ourselves that grace to know that, yeah, the things that we are pursuing are things that do take a while. It does have its ups and downs. And at the end of the day, we're continuously adding to this pile of receipts, or adding to our experience, adding to, getting better if we choose to, within that time, continue to make changes as we go. If we don't, then there's a problem. If your pictures from before look the same as they do now, then you wasted your time, unfortunately. I think there are certain times where, we have to take a step back, look at all the work that we've done behind us, because I think that'll help us to kind of push forward. Yeah, guys, I just hope that as I'm working on it, you guys can work on it too. Give yourself some grace, reflect, find perspective, and just kind of move forward, because, at the end of the day, as long as we're growing over time, we're winning. So keep winning like you guys are doing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one.